Testing 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Testing. Testing 1, 2.
Okay. Okay. They say just go. I'll let you play a few chords, a little bit longer. Okay. 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 Just to get them to know that we're starting. Yeah. Okay. leaders of the nation as you fuss and fight over who owns the soil and who has the right to design, build, and sell, and store and fire all the bombs and guns to defend your holy empire. There are children hungry, children sick and dying. There are mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers crying. They're only pawns in your play of power and corruption. Slowly starve them, your new weapon of mass destruction. And prove to me, America, that you care. And prove to me, America, you're aware. Who's dying for your freedom in this land? Who pays the cost for the liberties you demand? Is it for freedom or our comfort and convenience? Is it to profit for big business we pledge our allegiance? Are we prisoners in the land of the brave and the bold? Held by indifference, our hearts grown hard and cold? And prove to me, America, that you care. And prove to me, America, you're aware. Who's dying for your freedom in this land? Who pays the cost for the liberties you demand? Children of the world, you have the right to sing and dance, run and play, and let your dreams take flight. As the innocent die, your rulers carry the shame. And if we stand idly by, we share in the blame. And oh, America, do we care? Oh, America, are we aware? Who's dying for our comfort in this land? Who pays the cost for the convenience we demand? Children of the world, you have the right to sing and dance, run and play, and let your dreams take flight.
If you would please join us in hymn number 213, There's a Wideness in Your Mercy.
Good morning. My name is Gail Stevenson, and I serve as treasurer of the Board of Trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spartanburg. Welcome to this place. We strive to be a beloved community of warmth, love, and support across all our differences. This is a welcoming congregation where everyone is welcome just as we each are. If you are visiting with us this morning, we would love to meet you to share more about the life of this congregation. Visitor cards may be found in the pocket in the back of the chair in front of you. Please feel welcome to fill out one and place it in the offering plate during the service so that we can connect with you. There's a lot happening here. Don't miss out. See your connect at the back of the worship bulletin to read about everything you can be involved in. Allow me to share a few announcements this morning. Our annual fund drive. Our annual fund drive is going very well, and we need your support. Our goal this year is to reach $260,000 from 120 households, ensuring that our community remains strong, sustainable, and ready to live out our mission in the year ahead. As of today, we have received commitments of $186,409 from 91 households. As we receive intent to give commitments, we are adding leaves to the tree in the sanctuary, a visual reminder of how our collective generosity takes root and grows. Thank you to everyone who has already contributed. Please remember to turn in your intent of giving cards for the 2025-26 fiscal year beginning in July, or submit your intent online. If you look at the back of your Connect in the bulletin today, you will find a page with an intent to give card on it. You can fill this out and drop it in the offering plate this morning if you would like. This annual fund drive is for all of us, no matter the size of the pledge we can make. It is by working together that we fuel the amazing ministries of this congregation take root. The Path to Membership class. Are you considering joining the congregation at UUCS? Would you like to learn more about the UU movement and the congregation's place in it? The Path to Membership class is the place to learn more about Unitarian Universalism in our congregation. The next Path to Membership class will be held on Sunday, March 16th, 2025, starting at 12:30 p.m. in Wild Hall, which is downstairs. Lunch will be served and childcare will be available. A sign-up sheet is on the whiteboard in the foyer beside the sanctuary. You may also register by sending an email to membership@uucs.org. It's auction time. It's finally time for the event of the year, the UUCS auction. Join us on Saturday, March 29th from 2 to 4 p.m. in Wild Hall for the annual UUCS auction. Be prepared to bid on trips, furniture, art, sermons, and sign up for delicious meals and fun time with friends. This month we are looking for donations. Do you have an item that needs a new home, a piece of art that would look great on someone else's wall? Should you offer a class on your expertise? Do you own a vacation home that can be gifted for weekends? Can your family host a delicious meal? We are interested in anything that you may have to offer. Reach out to auction co-chairs Lee Jenkins or Virginia McLean or Kimberly Hall by emailing auction@uucs.org. Thank you, everyone. And thank you all for making this a place and this world more beautiful, more kind, more fair, more livable for every one of us.
Good morning. Our lighting of the chalice this morning is another reading from the book North of Main, Spartanburg's Historic Black Neighborhoods of North Dean Street, Gas Bottom, and Back of the College. Spartanburg's most legendary black educator was born into slavery August 11th, 1862, at a place called Kirby Hill, roughly the location of Spartanburg's Bethel United Methodist Church at the corner of South Church and Henry Streets. In her late teens, a man named Foster offered Mary H. Wright the opportunity to teach at a new school in Inman. Her father was dubious. "Why, Mary, honey? "You'll be scared to death away from home," she recalled him saying. Undeterred, she taught under a brush arbor while workers cut pines to build a 12 by 14-foot schoolhouse, which became known as the Ben Bomar School. Over the course of her lifetime, Mary H. Wright would teach more than 3,200 Black children at schools across Spartanburg County. Please join us in singing hymn number 203 in the Gray Hymnal, "All Creatures of the Earth and Sky." Our rippling bowl is an important ritual for many of us. It is one of the ways we come together as community to share our joys and concerns. Each week, we gather around the rippling bowl to place a stone or a shell in the water. The ripples created in the water are symbolic of the ripples of care that spread out from this place when we share with each other. We know that joys shared are multiplied and concerns shared are lessened. For those of you joining us from home or not wishing to come forward, I will place a stone or a shell in the rippling bowl to represent the joys and concerns that you are holding on to. You are welcome to come and share with each other.
voice inside my head saying you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I make feels lost, no direction. My faith is shaking, but I gotta keep trying. Gotta keep my head held high. 'Cause there's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's a climb. The struggles I'm facing, the chances I'm taking, sometimes might knock me down, but no, I'm not breaking. I may not know it, but these are the moments that I'm gonna remember most. Yeah, just gotta keep going, and I gotta be strong. Just keep pushing on, 'cause it's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. I'm always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's a climb.
Each week, we speak the living words of our covenant together, a covenant that was written by this congregation with intentionality. These words guide the ways in which we live with one another and the ways in which we support not only this community of faith, but also the wider community in the world. This congregation truly embraces these words and strives to live by them, knowing that sometimes we fall short. And when we do fall short, we try again. The words are taken seriously as we strive to create the world that we know is possible, a world of mutual thriving for all. Please join me in speaking our covenant. With courage, we say, we are a people of faith and hope. Together, we covenant to strive to become our better selves, to honor both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to respond to systems of violence and oppression with the power of a love beyond belief. We are at that sacred time in our service where we greet one another. I want to invite you to take this time to introduce yourself to someone you haven't met or speak to someone you haven't seen in a long time. We invite you to participate in whatever way works for you, what makes you most comfortable. If that is staying in your seat, please feel welcome to do so. If you want to exuberantly greet others, just make sure the person in front of you is open to that. Take your cue from them. If you're joining us virtually this morning, please take this time to reach out to someone who is on your mind. And when Max plays a few bars, please head back to your seat so we can continue the service.
Testing.
Yes.
If you ever need compression, I would think that's good. I've been playing with drums as a twilight. Don't play so much these days.
I'm just gonna, okay.
Hey, let me do this for you.
It's time to sit down, it's time to sit down. I know you wanna talk, I know you wanna chat. Go on, sit down, get back to your seat. Go ahead and take a sit down.
No story time. All right. Well, I don't necessarily have a story today, but I do have something fun for us to talk about for Time for All Ages. So if you are a kid, or if you're a kid at heart, I would love for you to come join me up here. Or if you're a teenager and you want to join me up here. How are we doing today? Good. Okay, so we have a new month, and that means that we have a new theme for the month, right? And all the big kids are going to be talking about leadership and how leaders lift up others. And it's Women's History Month. So I had to start the month off wearing one of my favorite shirts. Do you see my shirt? You see my shirt? Yes. There are some names on my shirt. Yes.
What is leadership?
What is leadership? That is such a good question. I did not prompt her for that. What is leadership? Do y'all have any guesses? What's a leader?
It's somebody that helps people.
Somebody that helps people. Yes. Any other ideas? So if a leader is somebody that helps people, leadership, what do you think that means? Helping people? That could be leading people, maybe the act of being a leader. Yeah? Does that help you out?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got some names.
And we'll get some more ideas.
Okay, we'll get some more ideas later.
Can we learn about that in class today?
Maybe we can learn about that in class today. Okay, so back to my shirt. I'm going to stand up so all the big kids can see it too. Okay, y'all see my shirt? There are some names on my shirt. Can you see that first name? Do you see that first name? Eleanor. Eleanor. And it is Eleanor Roosevelt. She was a really cool leader. Do you know who Eleanor Roosevelt is?
Was she a famous person?
She was a famous person. Who was Eleanor Roosevelt?
She also helped people, so she kind of became a leader.
She did help people, and she was a leader. She was a first lady. That means her husband was what? President. That's right. And she kind of redefined the whole role of first lady. She was like, I'm not going to sit at home and bake cookies. I'm going to go out and help people. And she helped people redefine the role of first lady because she helped human rights, help achieve lots of human rights around the world. That means that we advocate for people, we speak up for people and for other people, right? And President Truman later called her the first lady of the world because of her tribute to human rights.
Can I see?
Well, it's just notes. Okay, so that is Eleanor. The next name, what's the next one? Rosa. Who do you think that stands for? Rosa Parks, that's right. And what did Rosa Parks do?
She helped black people
Do you know how?
because
Do you remember? Do you know how? You want to tell me? I'm going to give you an example. That's right. She would not give up her seat for a white person, right? She said, I have just as much right to sit here as anybody else. And she was a mother of freedom, a mother of the freedom movement. And Congress later, after she got in trouble for doing this, later down the road, Congress gave her the title of First Lady of the Civil Rights. Pretty cool leader, wasn't she? She helped a lot of people. All right, let's see if I can get back up. All right, next. Who's the next one? Ruth. All right, have a seat, okay? Who do you think that Ruth is? Who do you think that Ruth is? Yes.
I know her, but I didn't watch it, and then I saved her. That was the way.
Okay. Do you know her initials? RBG. Know who I'm talking about? You know who I'm talking about. RGB. I got them backwards. Thank you. I have dyslexia. Ruth Gator
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yes, yes. Okay, and what did Ruth do? What did Ruth do?
She was a Supreme Court justice.
A Supreme Court justice. And before that, what was she?
I have no idea. A lawyer.
A lawyer. And while she was a lawyer, what was her main thing that she advocated for? Anybody have any ideas? Yes, she helped people that were being treated unfairly because of their gender. So she helped advocate for equal rights and women's rights, and she was a very strong presence on the Supreme Court. All right, the next one. We got the next one. What is it?
Is that Michelle?
It is Michelle. What Michelles do we know of? No clue. She was also a first lady. Obama, Michelle Obama. So what makes Michelle Obama a leader? What did she do? She was the first woman of color, African American, to serve as the first lady. That's right. And what did she do as the first lady? She helped black people. She helped a lot of people to see that it does not matter the color of our skin. We can all be the first lady, right? Yeah, or the first gentleman. She was also a lawyer, and before she became the first lady, as a lawyer, she was a activist and educator for poverty rights and education and health care rights. And then when she became the first lady, she used her first lady platform to also advocate for health and nutrition and poverty and education. Pretty cool, huh? All right, Allie. There is one more on here. What's that say? And my mom. My mom would not call herself a leader. She would say, I'm a worker bee. I like to be behind the scenes, and I like helping and just making sure things get done. I don't want to be the leader. However, I think she is a pretty powerful leader in her community. She is a nurse by trade. She was a nurse for a long time, lots of years. And she worked in home health care, going to people's homes and helping them. She worked in hospice. So when people are at the end of their life, she would help them transition into whatever comes next. And she has done a lot of cool things in the nursing field. And now that she is retired, she's kind of like the home health care nurse for her neighborhood and the hospice nurse for her neighborhood. She has helped so many people in her own neighborhood. And they would think that she is a leader, I think. She is also a community organizer. Do you know what that means? No? It just means someone who likes to gather the community. I want to get everyone together. And she created a knitting group in her neighborhood. She put it out on Facebook and all the things. She said, I'm going to be at the Starbucks and I'm going to be knitting. If anybody would like to join me, I would love to have you. And over the next few years, that group has grown and grown and grown. And people come together just to knit and hang out. And then they end up trading recipes, and they say, I can help you with this, or, oh, I know someone who can help you with that. That is community organizing, right? We're organizing the community to come together. So I think my mom is a leader. What do y'all think? Yeah. So I want you to think about people in your own life who may not seem like leaders, but are. Can you think about that for a minute? And I am going to tell you one who I just thought about. You, 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 definitely, and all of you. We are all leaders, and we can all lift each other up. And as we lift each other up, right, we all get to a better world, right? Okay, if anybody would like to go back to the classroom with me, I would love to have you come back to the classroom. We're going to draw and color and do some cool things. And big kids, if you want to come back, you're more than welcome, but I think they're going to do some cool things in here too. Thank you.
Each month, our congregation shares the plate with a community organization, a partner who is serving in a way that we want to be affiliated with and that we want to support. Half of all of our undesignated gifts and all of our designated gifts go to support this partner month by month. This month, we are supporting a program called Vida y Salud, Life and Health, based out of the Upstate Family Resource Center in Boiling Springs. Vida y Salud used to be a chapter of Pasos here in Spartanburg, and then its energy and activity grew to such a degree that it became its own organization. During the pandemic, our congregation responded to a call from the leaders of what is now Vida y Salud to support immigrants who were very vulnerable without support from our federal government and with their jobs in crisis. That work led to supporting immigrants in every county in our state through a coalition of immigrant advocacy groups that we helped formulate. And in addition to helping all of those people, serving across our state, providing services, providing food, providing care for each of us, whether we ever know these people or not. We built very strong relationships with these leaders in the immigrant community, particularly here in Spartanburg County. We have continued to do that work through our Social Justice Council, year by year in partnership with Vida y Salud. Today, that partnership remains very strong. And I want to express thanks to you for the way that we have remained in relationship with these people year after year through so many challenges previous to now, so that in this moment, the trust that we have built and the ways that we can work together are already in place and are very, very strong, so that we can immediately respond as needs arise. Our gifts this month will go not only to the organization, but to a particular program that they have created called Mujer a Mujer, Woman to Woman. As a man who cares very deeply about community life and spends a lot of my time trying to build people up, I can tell you with great authority that the people who really make community life work are women. And this is a program that brings together, a lot like Virginia's mom, brings together women in the immigrant community to just talk with each other, to listen to each other's needs, and to build resources to support each other. For example, just imagine if you were not a citizen of this country, but because they had been born here, and this country had a 14th Amendment, your child was. And imagine if one day your place of work were raided and you were arrested, imprisoned, and deported. What would happen to your child, a citizen of the country that was removing you? When these women gather, they help each other figure that kind of thing out. And we are here to help them. Let us share our gifts. One of the remarkable things that has developed in our congregation since the first Sunday of the pandemic, when we suddenly launched our online streaming in a new way, has continued to be built and to grow with a dedicated team over those many years. The person operating the camera today is the one who stuck it out through the entire pandemic, Sunday after Sunday, for a long, long time without a break. That work builds connection over time. And now, week after week, sometimes more than half of our worship attendance is online rather than here in the congregation. And I say this not because that's our goal, but because it tells us something about what's happening. This morning, we have people who are joining us who are on the coast. People we have a relationship with and we care about and who we work with. And they are watching wildfire evacuation warnings where they live. And they're texting with us and communicating about what's going on while they are watching right now. So as we share silence, let's hold our neighbors on the coast who are carefully watching for their own well-being and the well-being of their families and their homes as fires spread. Seems like a week of fires, doesn't it? Share silence with me. So I just want to thank you for what you are creating here week after week, year after year. The long, powerful work of faithfulness that you generate. What it means to so many people. Far beyond our sight. Very much in our hearts. I want to encourage you to look at the front of your bulletin at a picture there. At the end of this month, Brenda Lee Price, who was the first female black legislator in South Carolina who is from this neighborhood where our own congregation lives, is going to be our speaker, and she's going to speak about her second book. The first was South of Maine, about urban renewal in this neighborhood, which is very connected to the history of our congregation. And now she has co-published a second book called North of Maine, about Spartanburg's north side. She is going to be our speaker at the very end of the month. And so you have a month to read her amazing book and to share these stories with us all. Last month and this, we are reading from this book. And I'm just going to pass this around. There is a section on this legendary educator, Mary H. Wright, and I want you to be able to see these pictures, her picture on the front of the bulletin. I was looking through Mary H. Wright's social media feed this week and marveling at the proposal that she advanced to displace several thousands of people and erect a golden statue to herself, and the promise that money will rain from the skies when she does this. No, wait. I've gotten her confused with somebody else. That's not Mary H. Wright. That's not Mary H. Wright. That is King Nebuchadnezzar from the book of Daniel. from his social media feed in 587 BCE, when he displaced several thousand Judeans. I almost said Palestinians, but Judeans is the word, and removed them in order to claim their territory, and then erected a golden statue to himself. I apologize. Mary H. Wright was a displaced person. She was born into enslavement. And the place where she was born, to move us out of imagination into bodily awareness that Cindy's already sung to us about today, is right through that window. If you look through there, you can see what was called Kirby Hill, where Bethel United Methodist Church now stands, a sister congregation of our own. That's where she was born. When she was offered the chance to become an educator as a professional, she had already been teaching Sunday school classes since she was 10 years old at Silver Hill Methodist Church, which is now Silver Hill Memorial United Methodist Church, because that church was displaced by development. So now it's Silver Hill Memorial instead of Silver Hill. She had already been teaching since she was 10, but when she was offered the chance to teach, her dad said, "Why do you want to go to Inman? So far away." Some of you drove in from there today. So far away, you'll be afraid. Now, Mary H. Wright, then Mary Farrow, before she became Mary Wright, had already gone to school in Asheville and at Claflin College. She grew up in the time of Reconstruction, when she had an opportunity suddenly, as a black woman in this world, to become educated and to move forward. And lest we miss the meaning of this, let's remember that just prior to that, during the time of enslavement and everything that preceded it, it was illegal in the state of South Carolina to teach black people how to read. And here she comes into this new moment and claims multiple levels of education. So when her dad says, "You want to go to Inman? You'll be afraid." I mean, she's been to Asheville, she's been to Claflin, and also she's getting an education. It's like the bravest thing a black woman could do in that age. An amazing person. And consider what came after that time of Reconstruction. A time of regression. When the Ku Klux Klan began to form and make incursions. I get these things mixed up, I'm so sorry. Began to make incursions and proliferate violence in the upstate. You can read about that in that book too, it's documented. And rights that had been afforded were suddenly stripped. Well, who would do that? And she persisted in teaching. All over this county. A place where some people were dedicated to be inhospitable to her and to threaten her. But she knew her purpose. She had a gift to share. And she knew that the more people threaten our purpose, the more it shows how important our purpose is. There's a lot of bullying going on in our country right now. And one of the real dangers of bullying is that people who see the bullying feel empowered to copy it, to emulate it. And a lot of that is going on in our country right now. It's important to stand up to bullies. Otherwise, they will run the whole playground and try to take over the principal's office too. And that can be scary. But we have people who have shown us lots of ways to do that. Not just one way, but lots of ways. One of the things about the shadow, when it shows itself to us, is that it actually can teach us a lot. Now, this is hard and it's dangerous, but we all have shadow in us. Every instinct for violence, greed, lust, domination, pride, all these things are within all of us. None of us are exempt. And when we see the shadow operate, and operate effectively, one thing we can do is actually learn from it. So from my own perspective, there was a tremendous example of WWF tag team bullying in an office of great power this week. And have to stand up to bullying. One of the things we can see is teamwork is very effective. Tag team is a very effective thing to do. We don't want to be consumed by our own shadow. We don't want to just adopt that way of doing things. That is a path of mutual destruction. But if we have told ourselves that teamwork is important, this is actually a reminder that it carries a lot of power. If we can use it for the good instead of for ill. There are many kinds of leaders. There is one kind of leader who loves details and is very concerned to get everything right in the right order. And they can so overplay that strength, they become micromanaging and contract themselves into a ball of anxiety, and it becomes difficult to work with them at all. But if they find a way to share that great concern for detail and move it towards empowering a whole community to joy, they become profound leaders, transformative leaders, who can reform the way we do everything to make it more transparent and stronger and also joyful, celebratory, right? Imagine accountants playing violins and how beautiful that would be. So brilliant. And there's a kind of leader, a second kind of leader, who deeply wants to love people, parentheses, so they can also be loved. They have a great longing to be loved, and so they want to love. And if they are not careful, that can become very self-protective and even grudging. You didn't love me, so I'm not going to love you. But if that person can choose to share their love without condition, to open their heart, even if you're not going to open back to them, they can offer an unconditional universal love that is like the sun pouring out of their chest to illuminate and warm the entire world. These giants of compassion, these Buddhas walking among us. People of so much love and generosity. There's a third kind of leader who is prone to ambition, charm, greediness. They can be like chameleons. They change shape all the time because they're so anxious to succeed in life. They're willing to do anything to succeed, right? Can be even sort of slimy. But if that person chooses achievement in service to others, to be of help not only to themselves, but to others, their drive for ambition and success and achievement can be like a boat breaking ice to open an avenue for the entire cargo liner of the world coming behind them. It can create entire new paths of achievement that pave the way for all of us. It's a fourth kind of leader, often a person who has suffered very deep wounds. And those wounds, when they are triggered, can send that person into a hurricane of pain. And we can get swept up in that too. And it can feel like an endless descent into the void. But that person also, because of what they've experienced, has a radar for danger and an awareness of the need for healing in the world, of how broken the world is. And if we can support them and they can choose that awareness as something to share, they become healers and creators of beauty, artists in the world who can speak a word or sing a song or offer an insight that nobody else could even come up with, pulling creativity out of that abyss and breaking through to our minds and our lives with an insight none of the rest of us could conjure. Where did that brilliance come from? Healers and artists. It's a fifth kind of leader in our world who wants to understand everything. There are not enough books, and certainly not enough time to read them all. Knowledge to be accumulated and accumulated and accumulated, and systems to be designed and figured out. And these people can be so rational and so clear that the stupidity of the surrounding world can be a reason to just run away. Why am I stuck with all these idiots? But man, if they can apply that knowledge to the greater good, to share it with other people who can bring them out of their isolation and make it applicable to the rest of us idiots so that we can understand it. Everybody pull out your smartphone and look at what information technology can do. Then, boom, an entire world is empowered with knowledge and systems and modes of communication that nobody even knew were possible. Whole ways of understanding systems. Sixth kind of leader. Very concerned that everybody be safe. And if safety is threatened, they sometimes want to clamp down. Competitiveness can feel like danger, and they want to stop that. Stop it. Just stop it. But these soldiers for the good are the best friends any of the rest of us will ever have. More faithful than Mary Underwood's dog. Ready to be there with us through thick and thin, the bravest among us, the very best friends. And when they do that work for peace and for well-being, rather than just out of the anxiety of protection, they can construct real concrete things that make a life possible for all of us. The seventh kind of leader, they are fun. No patience for boring meditations going past 12 o'clock. They are ready for the party in the next room. They are ready for the party. Sometimes they drive their motorcycles too fast. Sometimes they've mixed motorcycles with something else, and it gets just too much. But these bringers of adventure and joy can pull us out of our comfort zone into the wonder and beauty of the world. Just please wear your seatbelts. There's an eighth kind of leader, the human bulldozer. They want to get it right, and they want it right for everybody. And damn it, if you're not going to understand that, I'm just going to come through you. And you know, sometimes you need that. Sometimes we got to move, and nobody's moving, so let's move. The magic comes out of these people when they move heaven and earth with all of their willpower out of compassion. Not for their own gain, not to build a golden idol, but to make a world that we can all live in. And they have the brute strength and the resolution to do it when they do it out of love for all the rest of us who are stuck in the mud. And there's a ninth kind of leader who just wants everybody to stop fighting and get along. Because isn't that what it's all supposed to be about? Finding the deep meaning of life and that deep inner peace that's possible. And this kind of leader can become so frustrated with how annoying all of their younger siblings and older siblings are, and why they're always the middle child, I don't know. That they just want to fade away, disappear. but when they will choose instead to have the courage to enter into conflict, not to pick fights, but to go where there is conflict. All of that peace can become a kind of motion that they're generating. And the conflict's actually something they can absorb into that cycle of peace. And people will slow down and talk with each other and find new paths forward. And there can be peace. Every one of these kinds of leaders is susceptible to stress and shadow. Every one of us. And you know that no system of describing human being is ever complete. There's no way to fully conceive of the mystery of human being or of who we all are. But human being itself is complete. Not in our individual self, but in the way we can work together. The power of teamwork, of all those different kinds of people offering their unique gifts to the team. So that the way that you lead and the way that I lead and the way that you lead, as different as they are, suddenly become compatible. The shadow has shown us again that teamwork can throw the entire world into a tailspin in one meeting. What if this room full of leaders, all so different, worked as a team? What then of our burning world?
If you will please join us in hymn number 207, Earth Was Given as a Garden.
Earth was given as a garden, cradle for humanity, tree
To extinguish the chalice, I will read our purpose statement of the congregation that was created over 2 years of dialogue and discernment together. We seek to create a world of mutual thriving for all beings, where everyone has enough and no one has to be afraid. Together we strive to build this beloved community, growing in wisdom, care, justice, service, and wonder, open to all.
There's a sign that we change out sometimes at the front of the property on the road. Usually about every 6 months or so we change it out. We have not changed it out for 3 years. There are people in this community who come from a place far away. They've come here as refugees. And they send word to us how much it means to them to see that somebody still has that sign up. And buddy, I'm glad we had it up this week. Speaking of lots of different leaders, many leaders doing different things, the hospitality team, which always encourages us in the shadow of gluttony, wore team colors this week. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I invite you to coffee hour afterwards. I hear people say a lot, I'm not a leader. And there's a kind of misleader who really wants us to believe that, so that we don't work as a team and our power doesn't become exponential.
We have spent